In my annual forecast at the start of this year, I gave the tagline for 2025, the point of no return. And the events that we've seen already in the first 8 months of this year at least lead me to the understanding that that was very much on point and a correct prediction as to what the events of 2025 would bring. It really is a case of a lot of converging events of different aspects and so on that we're all starting to be dragged into this vortex of turmoil and ultimately the awakening, which is causing a lot of confusion, causing a lot of division, and causing a lot of turmoil in the collective, at least here in Australia. So given that this 2025, the point of no return, and the events are accelerating a lot faster than what even I actually thought would occur, I've decided not to hold Paradigm Shift Summit this year. So all the people that have been calling me, messaging me, emailing me, I do apologise, and I apologise for the delay in making this announcement, but I've just been really working on a lot of different projects for myself, and there'll be more announcements made about those. But it really, for me at least, it's not the time this year to hold this event. I would rather delay it and hold the next one when I really feel called to. And I did take some time to come to this conclusion that at least for this year, it's not the right time for me to put so much energy and time into this event. So the fact that things are being shaken up so much, it is actually paving the way for a greater awakening and hopefully a deeper awakening for the collective here in Australia and also at a planetary level. But I think we've got a long way to go till we start to come to the conclusion that it really is a process of true inner work and genuine spiritual transformation, rather than just moving the deck chairs around on the deck or moving the chess pieces around on the chessboard to create a different version of the same level of consciousness. And this is something that you're going to start to hear a lot more spoken about by myself and different people going into the second half of this decade. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say for now, except that because of this looming issue with the digital ID, which in my view is perhaps the most pressing issue we face here in Australia in the next few months, at least in 2025, I'm basically making plans not to be on the major social media platforms because of this, because at least how things stand at the making of this video, it is not clear as to what the expectations of the age assurance or the age verification will be. It's actually taking place in many different countries around the world in different ways. So what I've noticed is that there can be a push in one country for some aspect of this agenda, and then a different aspect in a different country. So it's unfortunate, of course, but I don't know what that will look like. For me, what process that will be, and for everyone else, obviously. In regards to Meta, I actually advertise on Meta, so they already have my details, my credit card number and so on, to confirm I'm over 18. The same with Google, for that matter, and also the same with X, that I've paid for a service there on X. So the details are scant, but I know that if there is some unacceptable form of age verification, in my view, for me personally, I won't be on these platforms anymore. So I have taken the initiative to create a brand new website that's just been launched a couple of days ago. And that's my name, anthonyo'flynn.com. And that's where I'll be basically going forward as putting my work out there and what I'm offering in the world. And you can connect with me there if you want to stay connected, because there is a very good chance that I will disappear off these major platforms in December. But there has actually been a recent development in the Senate here in Australia where there's some process calling for a review or something like this happened, I believe, just yesterday. So we'll see how that plays out. The issue of this greater censorship of free speech at this time of this global agenda moving ahead is actually in direct path of the more freedom of information and more ability to have less censorship and so on, because of the astrological configurations that are occurring. And so that really does support the flow of information more. So I'm really surprised that this initiative will be successful to, well, I guess you can still say you can still use all those platforms, but the terms and conditions of them will be different. I'm going to be making another video about all these topics and in terms of the digital ID very soon, because I really feel it is such a pressing issue for all of us to consider if we want to consent to that. And ultimately, it's really an issue of that these platforms need us more than we need them. And of course, in the span of this colossal planetary awakening, we will be going off any social media platforms and websites that don't allow free speech with all these control systems in place. So perhaps this is a good time to make this jump and to cut the cords, so to speak, with these limitations on what we're able to use and in what context and how. It remains to be seen. So I'm not making any definitive decision at the moment, but from what it appears, at least to me, that there will come this date where from that moment on you have to jump through all the hoops and do whatever, if that's facial recognition every time you use it or just a one-off verification. I'm not sure. I've heard different interpretations, and we haven't had a lot of clarification as to what that's going to look like. So I'm not wanting to put a lot of assumptions out there, but I am also making my own path moving forward, so I'm putting a lot of time and energy into this website, and you can sign up for the newsletter there. So my next event will be on the 22nd of November, which is Navigating the Shift Workshop Part 1, which will be a live event on the Sunshine Coast, here on the Sunshine Coast. And I'm planning on running this as a course online in January in 2026. So if that's what you want to know about or you want to learn more, then go to the website and sign up for the newsletter there. I won't be sending it out all the time. I don't plan to, at least. So you can have a look there. But the website itself is a work in progress. So there is a lot more additions to be made and a lot more content to be added, but that will be the hub where you can find what I'm offering. I do feel that we are in the process of deep turmoil here in Australia, and it's going to be a very, very deeply challenging time for a lot of people, more from an inner point of view. At least what I'm seeing at the moment around really the topics of pride, of ego, of egocentric behavior, whether people are in service to themselves or in service to the collective. So there's a real opportunity there to use those external events as a vehicle for inner transformation, but there needs to be a certain self-awareness and a certain lucidity to see these events as they play out in our lives as an opportunity for growth, rather than just more self-serving behavior, which is, it does require a certain level of self-awareness. So there's a lot of other projects that I'll be working on that I'll be announcing on the website there, and I'm really excited about what the future can bring. I do think, as I mentioned, that the turmoil that's really intensifying here in Australia is going to be a real catalyst for real change, but I do feel that the change will be quite painful in terms of people coming to certain realizations about themselves and the institutions that are here in Australia, and the solutions, which is really missing from the conversation a lot of the time. And obviously that will come more to the forefront as we go deeper into this process. But really, this expression that I used before, like a vortex taking everybody in, that's really how I see things moving forward. It's already started. It's affecting a lot of people in different ways, but it will basically, everyone will go through some level of awakening, what I refer to as the lower levels of awakening, even if it's just genuinely understanding what inflation really is, and the fractional reserve banking system, and the preferential voting system, all these sorts of things that will eventually permeate into the wider collective here in Australia. So really we are at the process now, we're at the point now where this transition can't occur without a certain amount of at minimum inconvenience, at maximum sort of having people's lives upended, whether it's through bankruptcy, financial ruin, divorce, depression, major health challenges, and some form of spiritual awakening, which always does create some disruption. And at least that's how most people experience it at the time. But in hindsight, everyone says the best thing that happened to me. So wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I wish you the best watching this. And I look forward to connecting with you on my website, where we'll try to work out some sort of new platforms and some sort of ways of negating this digital ID, which I'm personally completely opposed to. But everyone has to make their own choice how they're going to work their way through this, and I think that's the beauty of it as well. And I'll look forward to connecting with you in the future. Thanks for watching.